Jay. Getting on there, and there was me thinking I was being fashionably late. No, we just held back a little bit for Fuzz and that, but we're all here now. So, evening, Mama Flossie. Evening, Jez. Good to see you as well, mate. Good show earlier on. That was a great show with you and Ken. Really enjoyed that one. And Taunt and Anthony, and obviously now Fuzzy. We got Arsenal Manic. Shakespeare, Anthony. Obviously, you're saying you're flowing like Shakespeare.
Oh, definitely. I used to be paid for this stuff. Do you know that? I reckon I should.
Evening. And also we've got in the Arsenal Gunner. While you're picking up Ego. Ooh, yeah. We know that one Ego on Dan's show last night. Yeah. Good evening, True Gunner. How are we doing, Josh? Good to see you as well. Good to see you, mate. And the great content you did earlier as well. Mama Flossie, how are we doing? So, let's we'll start off with Fuzzy actually, because I think he's got a bit of good news in that. We got into Man United.
Yep, and the new era has well and truly kicked off with the ratification. The green light has been given for Sir Jim and his lot and Ineos to start making the big changes, and it's coming very, very, very quickly. Everything seems to be moving really fast, and that's it feels odd for United fans because we usually like to sit around and wait for things to get really, really boring and old once things start to happen, start to break. But we're moving fast, discreet, under wraps and all. I mean, Dan Ashworth stuff for the director of football, that is, it's no real secret anymore that we're going after him. But I think they're saying that that could be wrapped up, as early as next week, at the start of next week. So that's quick to sort out a major appointment. Yeah. That's going to be pivotal to the future of the football club. So, there's big plans that are in place, and Ineos are so far so good. Let's see how much more they can keep hitting home runs.
Yeah, because I heard that this morning. Old Jeff coming in and that. So that's progress, as you said, very good progress. So Radcliffe's doing exactly what it says on the tin. So it must be nice to hear or see that actually happening for a change, rather than the old doom and gloom.
Well, that's the thing, is that whilst it's all just words, right? Big ups, Big T. Whilst it was all just words before, and a lot of people were skeptical, I was just like, yeah, he might just all be talk though. It's all just talk. But now we've already seen that there's actions. There's been major influence on the new CEO with Omar Barada. That was before they got power. But that was, that you just ask the Glazers and so, the intermediaries, go talk to this person. We've had conversations with him about this project, and we've sold the project to him. Just go and get the deal done. Nice. Of course, with the whole ordeal with garden leaves and all. So it's unfortunate it can't start work instantly. For Omar Barada's case, they're saying that they're going to try and do something like a garden leave or a notice period for Dan Ashworth as well. But by the looks of it, United look like they're ready to pay off whatever it is, just to say, no, screw your garden leaves. We want him to start to work tomorrow. We'll do the deal with Dan and take this Newcastle and sit down, shut up.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Also,
what's going on in the background of Anthony Herbert's house? What's that? Massive balloon or something? What's that?
Oh, that. Oh, sorry. That's what I didn't even be able to see. I tried to get that one. Yeah, that's a balloon that my missus bought with more love hearts and all that because she loves me.
And but you love us even more. But you love us even more.
Yeah, I love you. I love you guys even more. Definitely. I told her she's upstairs. I told her she's coming. Let's keep that between us, okay?
Big T's asking you, Fuzzy, have you renewed your passport, ready to go to Dubai and your Salt Bay membership? Are you ready to go?
Oh yeah, I'll go to a Salt Bay restaurant. He's coming to my chocolate milk factory. Tit for tat. It's all good.
Thanks, Bowling. Yeah, it's good. Did that this morning actually. When I got in early from work, use the old work computer as you always do. Might as well. So I appreciate that. Breaking news: Arsenal have reached an agreement with PSG for Mbappe. That Arsenal never sign Mbappe. Probably about right.
True.
And obviously, North London.
I think never good. It's another hype talk that someone's just apparently have made up. I expect. I mean, back to Arsenal, you can never see that happening.
No, of course not. Of course not. I mean, Arsenal Manic, Arteta's received thousands of Valentine's cards. Yep, all from Terry, mate. They've all come from Terry. He's cleared out the local card factory where he lives, so they're all from him basically. Off the Arsenal fan base, yeah. Thanks, Jezza. Thanks very much, mate. So, Anthony, come on, let's get it on the table. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go.
The weekend. The weekend.
Six sentences or 6 paragraphs or
the weekend. Well, the magic number is.
Don't knock him because he comes from the from the southwest. He can only do 6 words. Don't kind of knock him. He can't help it.
Well, 6 being the magic number and all. I tell you what, that was a brilliant game, Tone. I really thought you would have put more of a fight up. To be honest with you, I predicted 2-1 Arsenal, maybe 3, but I got to be honest with you. You didn't turn up, mate. And for 6-0, I mean, to be 4-0 up in the first half, I thought that was great, fantastic. 2 centre backs scoring the goal, Saka penalty,
DJ Cray's great comment. Big up the Herbert, the smashed and the buzzing.
The smash and the buzzing. I am buzzing. I am a bit smashed. I've been like
you're the Herbert, mate. Obviously, Fuzzy's obviously the buzzing. I'm the bloody smash.
Oh right. Well, I've been on the red wine today, so that's all right. And but yeah, I reckon it's been a brilliant game. I reckon it was good. I mean, Trossard's goal was good, but the world he come from, it had to come from the main man himself when against his old club, Declan Rice. But after his goal, he sort of like. He patted his badge and he was walking off and he was giving it back. Obviously, you could tell he didn't really want to celebrate, did he? That goal, against his old club. But that's fine.
That's the etiquette, though, isn't it? I mean, that's respect at the end of the day. You admire that from any player to do that, basically. I mean, obviously, I'm just going to go to Jeff's comment. He's saying, how long you'll be talking about this? I'm going to leave the room, come back when you're finished. Yeah, I know, mate. We've got to get it. We've got to get it out of the way. It's going to rear its head at some point. If it ain't from us, it'll definitely be from the chat. And knowing that, same as you, mate, I'll probably, I've received pelters all this week, and I'm still going to get it. So, yeah, we're gonna cover this anyway. But yeah, I appreciate that comment. Go on, mate. I mean, obviously, yeah, it was a good game from Arsenal, and I mean, big up to JPT in there, keep it to the 60 panel. Big up, guys, that we will. I think we all are. Just going to do the last couple of comments we're going to talk about. I've turned out the last time you lost at home. It was in 1963, home to Blackburn Rovers. It was, mate, and. Makes a change for us, making history, setting records like that. Usually, if you look at the couple of seasons ago, that's always been Arteta setting history for the wrong reasons. Yeah, set Peter, exactly. I mean, that's one I feel will cover. And going to come back to you on what we was talking there, but yeah, that was the disappointment for me as well. How easily we got beaten on set pieces, especially the first goal. Alvarez being beaten at the far post. He's a tall man. He should have dealt with that a lot better.
Yeah.
But yeah, we kind of basically, capitulated on the set pieces, which is unlike us, really. I don't know. Something was definitely going on there. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I get that, Big T. What respect? Rice didn't need to score that. Well, if you think about it, the only reason why he scored that goal was because obviously you saw the Chuckle brothers, to me, to you, when Trossard and Odegaard had a clear misunderstanding who was going for that ball, and Rice was there to latch onto it and yeah, puts it in the back of the net. And it was a good goal. You can't deny that. I mean, hats off at the end of the day. The Arsenal previous record win over West Ham was a 6-1 thrashing back in 1976. Keeper bumps into Ben White and falls over. What the fuck is it? Yeah, I know, mate. It was a lot of calamity of errors from West Ham. It really was.
Oh, it was loads, Tim. It was absolutely loads.
The biggest circus in North London.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I'm going to be honest, Tim. You were shit. Let's be honest. You've got to put it down to that. It was shit. Man management, poor decision making, and it was poor throughout. But I mean, it's like what I've been reading now. What I've just recently been reading. Apparently, they've given Moisey, is it 4 games?
4 games.
But then again, I'm not being funny. Would they have to buy him out of his contract?
Exactly. So for me, I mean, I was talking about that today, and that for me, it's a case of, and knowing Sullivan, keep until the end of the season. His contract doesn't get renewed, and then basically there's no payout.
Yeah,
you can just let him go, basically. But yeah, 4 games. Maybe it was a kind of. Is it actually come from the club? Is it actually come from the media? Is it the case of just kind of scaring the bejesus out of Moisey to get the team playing? I mean, obviously, like Arsenal Manic's asking the question, what's the main problem at West Ham? Is it the football style? Is it injuries or something else? I mean, injury-wise, it's really, if you think about it, it's Paqueta and Antonio have been the main injuries concerns for us. And when you look at the fact of his style, majority of the time he's got it right. It's only a few games so far this season. I mean, the Brighton one for me we was lucky to kind of come away with a point in that game because it was only Areola that kept us in it because Brighton hammered our doors 5 or 6 times. So they should have actually kind of buried that game, but they didn't. But yeah, sometimes Moisey, he gets it right, and then the majority of times we just kind of camp in our own half. And I think it was the same with you, against you on Sunday. We just allowed you so much space, and you look good because of it.
Yeah, no, it was. It's like what I said. I mean, you got to make you were poor in that, but what you said, going back to Moisey, I don't understand this because, I think what are you now? You 6th or 7th now in the league?
I think we dropped down a place now. I think it was 7th or 8th now. I think it is
7th or 8th, right? Well, let's say 7th or whatever. But not being funny, when was the last time West Ham was actually 7th in the Premier League? Be honest, because I mean,
2 seasons ago.
Was it 2 seasons ago? Was it?
Mm.
So, in all fairness, I mean, but did you finish 7th? So yeah, you did. Did you qualify? Yeah, that's right. You qualified for Europe. But then again, I'm not being funny. It's a repeat of that. But I mean, you look at the preference of what West Ham got. You're not expecting West Ham to be in the top 4 anyway. You're expecting to finish around the Europa League, or the Europa Conference. That around that area because of not being funny. The players that you've got, it's like what I said on the Sunday night show. You don't go out there, you don't spend 50, 60, 70 million pounds on players. You might spend about 40 million on a player, 35 say. But in all fairness, I don't think Moisey's done a bad job. I really don't, because the way you are there, and you're in a comfortable position. There's 14 games left of this Premier League. And I'll be honest with you now, with 14 games, if Moisey won half of them, all right, you put a couple of losers in there, a few losers, but you put a few draws in there as well, which tallies up your points even more. I don't think you've had a bad season, and you're still in you're still in Europe as well, anyway. So I can't see what the big problem is. And with all these West Ham fans crying, Moisey out, I think what they got to do is not say that now. Let's say that at the end of the season. But would West Ham get another manager in that can actually? Because to me, Moyes got a bond with the team. So if he goes and the new manager comes in, is he going to progress what Moyes has done for them and win them a trophy? That's the main question.
I mean, I'll come back. I mean, obviously, just going to go and Jeff's comment in the bowling lounge. He said, to be fair, there's hardly any payout if he sacks him. His contract runs till June, which is true. So when you look at it, keep him till the end there. And obviously, minimal payout. I mean, obviously, a good comment here from Arsenal Manic. Oh, sorry, not that one. Where is it? I mean, Big T. He's saying, actually, have Arsenal peaked too early with that performance? Should they have kept some gas in the tank for the remaining games? Because, it's not being funny. The week before, when you beat Liverpool, I did say it doesn't matter what that result was. It's what you do in the next game. Because all that celebrating, or when the so-called over-celebrating, if you didn't win that game on Sunday, then the week before, counts for nothing. And as you know, you got the result. You're in there. You're in the mix still, but you've still got to look at the likes of Liverpool can still get results. City can definitely get results. You saw that last night how they played, even though they were kicked around the park. I don't know how many times. It's going to be interesting. So that's a good point. Have they picked too early? Because everyone's bigging up their game, and fair enough. 6-0, you've got to big up your team because that's as your own, your team or your own club. You're going to celebrate because that's a great performance. 6 goals.
Yeah, it is a great performance. But picking that early, I don't think it is. I mean, at the end of the day, you only play what's in front of you. That we all know that, and results have gone our way. You take the last 4 in consideration. We scored 16 goals in 4 games. Now, for me, that's like league winners. You know what I mean? That's a sign there. Solid champions in scoring goals. Admittedly, you do need a striker. We like to have a 20 goal season striker, but in a minute where we're going on like this, I mean, just enjoy it while it lasts. Because personally, I don't think Arsenal's going to win the Champions League. I will rule out the Champions League, but have a decent go, a decent run in it. And I know it's horrible to say because you've got to be in it to win it. I get that, but I mean, you look at the standard of players that plays for the upper teams that's in the Champions League still. Arsenal sort of lack those standards a little bit. Yeah. So, I say a little bit, but quite a lot. And also, we haven't really got a squad with any depth in it. We've got a very thin squad. And Mikel Arteta's come out and said that. But in all fairness, we just need to stay injury-free, take each game as it comes. Because this weekend coming up, we've got Burnley. Then we're into Porto, into the Champions League. And then obviously we've got the likes of Newcastle. I don't know if I'm going to get this in order, but we've got I think it's Sheffield United. I know Sheffield United's in there. Newcastle's in there.
Yeah.
Man City's in there. One other team, and then Porto as well.
You got Man United. They're playing you as well, hasn't they?
No. We got Man United.
Is it Chelsea?
It's Chelsea. No, it's Chelsea. That's it. It's Chelsea.
Yeah. Chelsea. Yeah. So we got Man United is not until game 37. So that's Arsenal, Man United. But it's like what I said. You just got to take each game as you come as it comes. But it's like what I said. They haven't got to slack off. They've got to keep going at it if they want to achieve anything. Personally, for me, I'd rather have the Premier League than the Champions League this season. I know it's other people prefer to have the Champions League. I want the Premier League. I feel like 20 years without a trophy is too long. It is way too long.
Yeah,
so we got to correspond with that one as well. In all fairness, I mean, everybody's saying, "Oh, we've got to win so many games out of 14 in that," and so's Man City. But this is the time of the month where Man City starts. They start going, and we saw it last season. It was always round about towards the end of February, beginning of March, and then they go on that ridiculous, rampage for the league sort of thing, and they just literally win every single game. Can Arsenal do that? You know what? I don't think they can. The only team that can most probably do that, matching it, and most probably be like Liverpool.
Yeah. Totally
I'm sorry, but I thought Arsenal's going to finish third this season. In my philosophy, I think we'll finish third and we won't win it. It'd be another trophy-less season, personally, I reckon.
Be interesting. I mean, I've just got a comment here from AFC Always. It's a good one. He says, West Ham are missing Declan Rice. In certain respects, we could say yes, but at the same point, we definitely was missing Paqueta, really. Paqueta gives us a bit more dimension as well. And the fact that you could see that Alvarez looked a bit lost. Souček, another one as well. So Paqueta is a bit more of the gel that we need sometimes. hopefully he's going to be back soon, because it was quite obvious in that game that we did really need him. But yeah, I mean, when you look at the, everyone's obviously kind of talking about leaving at half time as well. When you're 4-0 down, it's that kind of, it was a debate. Do you stay till the end, or do you agree with what some of the West Ham fans did and leaving at half time? What's your views on that, Fuzz?
Yeah, I mean, as far as fans leaving is concerned, I mean, pretty sure Sheffield United fans were doing it the week before to Aston Villa.
Yeah.
And that was in like the 23rd minute of the game, let alone half time. I think it's just one of those things where I think fans who go through as much effort as they do to get to these games, I think it's just a case of frustration where it's just like, well, I don't enjoy watching my team not compete, so why am I here? It sucks that I've paid this much money to be here and I've travelled all the way here and my team's seemingly just given up. Why spend valuable time in my day here if I'm not going to enjoy myself here? And that's kind of the conundrum. You either stay, you either leave and just say, well, I've got better things to do with my day, or you stay to the very end and you keep going with like vocalizing your feelings on what you're seeing as a paying customer, as somebody who's supporting. It's like a supply demand kind of relationship between clubs and its fans. The fans demand and the club has to supply it, and if it's not up to expectation, if it's not up to par, then the fans have got the right to voice displeasure. And that you wonder sometimes which is the better way to get your voices heard, or to send a more impactful message, in empty stands or loud, really like hostile atmosphere directed towards the people that you expect better from. And for me, I'm more in the side of things where I think you should vocalize, because you look at other clubs around Europe, their fans, when they're booing, you don't see them stand up and walk out the stadium like halfway through first half or anything. You see them stick to the very end and they're just booing non-stop until the situation improves. And that's kind of the boat that I'm in.
Yeah,
that's how I feel about that scenario or that situation myself. I know that there's plenty of other people that will feel differently, or would seek a different resolve, but that's just me.
See, for me, and that, I mean, as you said, you could be vocal and let the board know that you're being vocal, or the other way you do it is don't turn up for the game. If you feel like if your club is not performing or the board is not giving you what you need, then that's the other way you do it. You stop the ticket sales, you stop the merch sales, you stop the food sales and the drink sales. By staying at home, that also has the same impact. But yeah, I mean, leaving at half time, don't get me wrong, I know leaving the London Stadium to go home and that is a pain in the backside. You've got to go all the way around the houses to get to the actual to the train station. You've got the stewards kind of doing their nonsense with the stop and go signs and just making a complete hash of it as well. Sometimes it is a long-winded thing leaving the stadium, so I can understand that point. And I know, 4-0, straight away you're capitulating, and there's more to come, no doubt, and they can, that's probably the reason. But for me, no, I'd stay till the end, because I'm not saying we was gonna do a masterclass and spin it around and then win it 5-4. No, there was no way that was going to happen. I couldn't see that happening in the Mile of Sundays. But you stay with it's your club at the end of the day. I mean, what's your views on it, Anthony? How do you feel about it?
Trouble is, though, I'll be honest with you. When it was half time, and you've seen all the people leaving, and then when the start of the second half came in, you saw so many empty seats in that stadium. It was unreal. I think is what people. I reckon it's up to them what they want to do, whether they want to get out and go lead the game. Because if you're 4-0 down at half time, there's pretty much a chance you're not coming back. You know, you're not going to pull it 4-4, are you? So what I'm saying is, I do get it why the fans leave because it's their views and their opinions to do it. Personally, if it was me, if that was the other way around and you beat us 6-0 and I went and paid and watched that game, I would stay to the end. Because I paid for the full 90 minutes. I will watch the full 90 minutes. And also, I think that I would have the right to boo my players off the pitch. Because after all, I've paid money for it. I've put money in that into the club by getting my ticket, you know, obviously with drink, food and all that there sort of thing. So, yeah, so I get it, why fans do both of it. But I'm just saying, in my own opinion, if it was me, I would stay, and I would boo all my players off the pitch. I'm sorry, but that's something that I would do.
Interesting. I mean, bowling down sake for you, Anthony. So you're saying Rice is morphing into Harry Kane, Anthony, leaving a club to win trophies, to not actually win any trophies. A little bit of a dig there.
Well, it is a little bit of a dig there, yeah. But I mean, look here. I think Rice wanted to play. I obviously he wanted to play for Arsenal. I think what got him attracted to it was the Champions League, playing in the Champions League, because he's never done that, has he? He's never played in the Champions League. So that's one thing that he wants to do. He's old enough to think in his own mind. If he wants to go, obviously, I will say this to him, but I mean it in deep respect. You know, if he wants to go and play for a better team, then that's entirely up to him. Personally, one that doesn't lose 6-0. But but yeah, I mean, you know, it's down to him. Would I like to see Arsenal win a trophy this season? Yes. If we don't, fine. Manager, sack him. He's gone. We bring someone new in, and somebody that can. I personally, I think we've got a decent team to really challenge and really go for it. We proved that last season, but it was just that I didn't know what it was. I mean, you've got the buck stops with the manager. So obviously you've got to blame Mikel Arteta for that for last season. If he's going to repeat that this season, unfortunately, yeah, he should be gone, and we should get somebody new in. But there's no one who's out there because most of the managers that Arsenal fans want are still in a job at a team doing their jobs. Look, so it's going to cost X amount of millions to get them. Do you know what I mean? So obviously, the more money you spend on a manager, like in wages, I think the less money you're going to have to spend on players, and vice versa. So, I mean, I think it's about time we had an elite manager in. I mean, this is Mikel. The end of this season, Mikel Arteta has been there for 5 years now. So, yeah, and won FA Cup in 5 years. I know he's won a Community Shield, but I don't count that as a trophy at all. So, yeah, I think one cup in 5 FA Cup is too long, and for that to keep that win to keep him in a job for 3.5 years. Nah, I'm sorry, but he's got to
go. Interesting. Yeah, as Bowling's Lounge says, still 2-1 to us this season.
Yes, I know. The trouble is, though, I know we beat you 6-0 and you feel like bang sort of thing, but you can turn around and say, "Hang on, we beat you twice this season." So you know what I mean? You've got the upper hand.
You've won the battle, but not the war.
But not the war.
Yeah.
All right, the ball was out. I will say that, but you know.
Both times, was it?
No, it was just once. So we should have lost one then.
I don't know. Still, have I still got the evidence up in there? I don't know if I've still got the evidence. Oh no, I've took it off for the time being. Never mind, mate. Ball was never over the line. Never over the line.
You see it, Fuzz. If you've seen that picture, the ball is way over the line, mate. Way over the line.
It was way over the line on the right side.
Who is that man behind you? I can't see your head.
Oh, that's that there. That is the future saviour of Manchester United.
Oh, he's coming to the board, is he?
Dan Ashworth, yeah.
Oh, blimey.
That's the reaction. That's the reaction of bloody all the rival fans when they find out that United are actually acting seriously. They're like, this was not part of the script.
I thought it was Norman Bates on that film, Psycho. He looks like him, but look at his eyes. God, he looks scary. He looks scary, Tim.
He does, mate. I mean, that's to make sure you actually sign for the club. You just get a pair of eyes like that, basically looking.
Yeah.
Just trying to put it off.
Happy Perkins.
Here's a question for you, Anthony.
Yeah.
Considering your form at the moment, current opinion on Arsenal.
Current opinion on Arsenal. What can I say? Like I said, my current opinion on Arsenal, we're not going to win a trophy this season, Champions League or Premier League. I feel that we're going to finish third. Kai Havertz was an absolute waste of money, 65 million, when we could have spent that in the January transfer window. And do I feel if we don't win anything, should Arteta be gone? Yes, I do. And that's it. That's my opinion on this club so far this season. I mean, he's been backed. He's had 750 million to spend. If he's there next season, you might as well say he's going to be spending at least 950 to his first billion, at least. Do you know what I mean? Next season.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sorry, but if you're a manager and you spent £1 billion at the club and you haven't produced anything within the years you've been there, apart from one FA Cup win, I'm sorry, but you're gone. And our owners, the Cronkies, they've got to look at this and they've got to weigh up every single option. If it means going back from this season to last season, I mean, just got to look at the stats and weigh up their opportunities and say we need a better manager.
I mean, what's your views in it, Fuzz? How do you think Arsenal they've been on their current form?
So you look at them winning a game 6-0, you think, oh, the optimist in you would say, oh, Arsenal are back, remnants of last season. Oh, yeah, we'll get a title charge on, right? The other part of you, the more cynical side, looks at it. It's like, but is that just a case of a one-off? That next week it's going to be more of this sort of frustrating, sort of pulling your hair out, like, oh, why are Arsenal playing like this? You could be making this job so much easier. You never know. We'll probably end up struggling to beat Brentford, maybe getting across a line, but struggling nonetheless. And it's just like, well, great. So 6-0 last week was just a fluke. Just as an isolated result. It's possible, possibilities that can happen, but I mean, it's difficult to say really where it is Arsenal will actually go, because it's like you know exactly what they are capable of, but you also know what they're capable of in terms of both ends of the stick with this.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's what I say. I mean, actually, the pattern hasn't changed in the fact that they always have possession of a game. They always have a major possession of the games, but for some reason on certain games they just cannot finish. And I mean, obviously against us, yes, we know you got the goals, but was that a one-off? Possibly so. Are West Ham going to bounce back from this? You can't go backwards. We can only go forwards now. We've already gone backwards with that result. But Arsenal, yeah, it's one of those. Are they dangling the carrot again to the Arsenal fans, only to fail again at the last hurdle? And that's the thing that kind of sticks out for me. That's a possibility that's going to happen again this season.
Yeah.
And that is a worrying thing about Arsenal. It seems that you can say there is possibly some improvement, but there's still something missing. And I think you alluded to it, Anthony. The squad's too thin. Just like with us, with West Ham, if you look at the bench with our bench, I think the last game we only it was the week before, we only had like 13 players.
Yeah,
that's piss poor.
Yeah,
You can't rely on something like that, So, I think I agree with you, Anthony. I think if you're not careful, your third is probably more likely, but you've still got to think. Man United are on the up with results. Chelsea are starting to get a couple of results together now. You're fortunate enough for Aston Villa, which I think was the one that could have caught up with you, have suddenly found a dip. They're losing ground. But yeah, and even your North London rivals. So it's still, if you're not careful, one or two slip ups, it just takes the others to carry on, and then that third could become a fourth if we're not too careful.
Exactly, yeah. And I mean, this is what I see with the Man United and Aston Villa game. I mean, in all fairness, I personally think if Fuzzy was doing a watch along on the Aston Villa Man United game, that winning goal for Man United, scored by his favourite player, McTominay, he would have been shouting and cheering, "Yeah, McTominay, I'm wrong."
I was celebrating it a little bit more than some Man United fans. If you see on the socials, look around.
You look around.
But even though it's a player that I was just like, I don't see him have a future at my club. I don't want him to have a future at my club because I want us to have top level players, top tier quality in all starting 11 positions and also on the bench as well. That's kind of where I want us to go. And holding on to some of these players, they might give you the thrills and the joys in the short term. If the downsides to those is you might be holding on to things of the past that you need to let go in order to progress. And it's kind of like, give him another chance under this Ratcliffe ownership, give him another chance under Ineos, under this manager, that manager. That's where you start to hamper things a bit and slow down progression. I think it's just fast track everything and be as efficient as possible. Don't hold on to any baggage, no matter what history you got with them. Got to be cutthroat with it for me.
No, exactly. I mean, obviously, can Arsenal fluke the Champions League whatsoever?
They could. It depends. I'll tell you one thing. Depends if Mikel Arteta can fashion himself as a knockout competition specialist between now and the end of the season. But we know he doesn't like cup competitions. He likes to throw them away.
No, exactly. Exactly that.
Well, the word fluke there, Tim, is with Arsenal Manic putting fluke. If fluke's the magic word, the only way you're going to fluke it is if your games goes in. You play your games, go into extra time, and then hopefully you can win on pens. That's the only way you're going to fluke. Do you know what I'm saying? Because it's eliminated down. It's down to 50-50. Obviously, whatever team's going to win. So with the word fluke, that's the way how Arsenal would do it. Is fluke if they win it, like from now to the final if they win on penalty shootouts, and that's the only option I've got in my head at the minute. So.
No, of course. I mean, like the Bowling Lounge said, I honestly didn't know there was such a split in the Arsenal fan base of Arteta. Yeah, Jeff, if you thought it was bad with us, with Moyes, Arsenal fans take it to another level with when it comes to Arteta. It is. If you watched the show last night, I don't need to mention who it was, but if you watched the show last night, you saw the Division and Delusion in its finest form. And yeah, still emotionally scarred from watching that again today, basically. A chicken in a basket. Just got to catch up on some of these. Yeah. Much await that actually will tell us a lot about Arteta and Arsenal. Yeah, absolutely. I think it will there, Dave. Good to be here. Good to have you as well here, mate. And here he is. He's finally recovered. It's good to see him finally. Long-haired yet his cave. Big up to you, mate. I hope you're coping well. Mate. And you're on the road to recovery. Sounds like your voice is not on fine form at the moment. So hopefully we'll soon have you back and up and running. The comments.
Get well. Get well. Get well soon, Yeti. Prick.
We need you on top in-form prick settings.
Oh, definitely.
You need you sharp. The prick's got to be sharp.
You know what? I laughed when it was the. Did you watch the show earlier with Jez and Kenny? And Jez said, "Any questions?" He said, "Oh, the questions are really rolling in," and then yet he put a Q. As an obviously appreciation for a question. You know, question to Jez: are you a prick?
I saw that. I saw that.
I just laugh. I saw that.
Going back to obviously, my club, West Ham. How do you see West Ham at the moment? Considering the result from Sunday, but how do you see West Ham in general? Are we on the up? Are we? Was that just a blip? I'll start with you first, Anthony. Obviously, as you played us.
Yeah. Oh, they're a relevant thing. There's no point. There's no point keep talking about them. I feel really sorry for them. No, I'm taking a piss. No, do you know what I do? I do feel sorry for them for a certain extent. Is because even though you look at the last lot of games that they've played and it hasn't gone really well for them, and then on the other side of it, you flip the coin over, and then the fans are on Moyes' back, and I just feel sorry for Moyes because West Ham to be in the position where they are in a minute. Yeah, and I was saying this earlier. I don't feel that's bad. West Ham being eighth, you can still get into that top six if you wanted to, depending on results and how you play. Listen, you lost 6-0 last game.
Yeah.
You ain't going to lose 6-0 your next game. You're not. You're going to add some man up. Moyes is going to come up with a new plan, new strategy because you've got a couple of key players missing through injury. We get that. But, so does every other team. So what you do, you don't look back. It's like what you said. You look forward. I'm not too sure you've got this weekend coming up soon.
I think it might be Forest. I'm going to have a quick butchers now, actually. I think it might be Forest. That'll be interesting. West Ham fixtures. Yep, it's Forest.
Forest. Oh God, you're fucked. 4-0 Forest. But but yeah, I mean, this is a game that you really want to be, because we all know what Forest is like. I've watched Forest. You've watched Forest. Making friends with obviously a good friend like Yeti. Through him, we've got to watch Forest a little bit more and see what they're all about. Players that's coming in, new manager, but in all fairness, they're struggling a little bit, aren't they? Forest as well. So I think it's going to be a good game. And personally, I think it'd be end-to-end stuff because Forest, even though they're not winning game, they're still entertaining to watch on the pitch. Yeah. So do you know what I mean? So it's going to be a tight one. I don't know whether you want me to give a score prediction for that, or you want to save it to the end.
We'll save it till the end. I think. Yeah, I mean, It's at your ground. It's at the City ground. It's at the City ground.
At the City ground.
Yeah. I mean, Fuzz, what do you make of West Ham's current form at the moment?
Stagnant, I would say. Bit bland. Not much flair or spice to it. It's like just a team going through the motions a bit, and whether it's just a dip is entirely up to David Moyes and the group of players he has. And I suppose with the players that you have got, there's more than enough quality there to see out the second half of the season and finish in a very good position. More than enough quality to do that. But it's just got to be what the response to what David Moyes does now. I think getting players feeling revitalized, re-energized, minute 1 to minute 90, do all the fundamentals right, do them well, work harder than the opposition, want it more, because that's another thing. Is you'll find a lot of times teams get to certain points in the season where they just look a little bit disinterested. If it's demotivation in the dressing room, if there's players that are slightly demotivated, because I know that I think the handling of some of the a couple of the exits for some of your players in your first team picture was a little bit messy. I don't know, something like that has got the players being a little bit iffy. But yeah, to me, not the worst position in the world. I think it's just something's not quite right there. But I think it's just the case that there's a couple of switches that are just in the off dial instead of the on dial. And I think you just need to get back to switching those the right way around, and you should see an improvement.
I think you're right there. I mean, for me, I think, like I said, we're missing Paqueta for one. So we got that creativity we're missing a little bit. And the other person we've been missing, even though we didn't, he should have started possibly with Ings instead of having Bowen up top, is obviously Antonio, and he's due back as well. So, even for his age, and we know obviously he doesn't always score, he still causes problems. So hopefully, he'll be back for a couple of games, and Paqueta as well, because we was missing the pair of them, I must admit. I mean, there's a good question here for me, Ross. Early doors, who'd you get in there instead of Moyes? I mean, obviously, I know people are saying there's a Potter out there. There's the talks of Mourinho in there as well. But for me, I wouldn't mind Thomas Frank, the Brentford manager.
That's a good shape.
I wouldn't mind him at all, actually. He's not a bad manager. He's got a tune out of Brentford, and I think he's one of those that he could get something out of us. Would you agree on that, guys?
Yeah, I'd totally agree with that. Thomas Frank is a good manager, but when you think of him when he's managing Brentford, the only player that you could pull out at the minute is Ivan Toney, which is Brentford's best player. But look, he's done his band, he's served it, but he did get that team up and running. Obviously without Toney himself. So I still think, I think that'd be a good shout and a good cause. I think he most probably proceed better at West Ham than obviously at Brentford, because at Brentford, sadly, they're a team that's not really going to win any trophies. They're just going to sort of stay mid-table around the Premier League, if that sort of thing. So that's what I'm saying. So so if I think he'd do it just to better himself. And listen, I think if it was him, I think he'd do a good job. He might win you a couple of trophies, like a Carabao Cup and a Europa League Conference again, or Europa League. That's the sort of manager he is. And he's got to be given the chance to do that, personally, because what he's done at Brentford, and I think it's a fantastic job he's done at Brentford, because they didn't really spend much money, do they? So
no, it's true. That's absolutely true. I mean, Fuzzy, what do you think? Do you agree on that one? You think it's a good shout?
For Thomas Frank, it's probably an idea. I mean, you look at the club level, West Ham, I think, certain managerial targets. I think it's harder if you're looking at a club of much bigger size, like something like a Man United or Man City or Liverpool. Clubs that's that end of the end of the scale. I think West Ham somewhere sort of upper level, sort of mid-upper level tier. Thomas Frank, I think, would be an ideal sort of a step up from Brentford, and I think that's kind of the sort of ballpark that we're looking at. There is the manager to go up the next level in terms of the Premier League. Thomas Frank, I think Graham Potter is also a plausible option. Yeah, I think a lot of people are very quick to say, "Oh, Potter's just an absolute, he's a bum manager because of how wrong it went at Chelsea."
Yeah,
let's just forget anything he ever did at Brighton. Then, if you look at a club like Brighton, similar level in the table to West Ham.
Yeah,
at the same sort of position in the latter years of his tenure at the club. You might look at it and say, well, potentially, Graham Potter could be a good fit for West Ham, club at that sort of level. Plus, it's not a club in the state that Chelsea are in.
No,
it's complete disarray. It's a bit more structured. It's a bit more in control, and I think Graham Potter, a manager in that sort of ballpark, it's an ideal club to go into.
Yeah, I think it wouldn't be a bad shot with Potter as well. I think the problem with Potter, it was one step too far for him going to Chelsea. I mean, blimey, you see how it aged him, that job, because it was just too much. But I think, with a West Ham side, he probably could do something with it, basically. But I'm just going to go on this one here. You think he's Freddy Krueger plays Cat Zuma time? Yeah, possibly so, mate. I mean, if you look at funny you say about Kurt Zuma, for me, as much as he's still a fairly decent player, he just hasn't got the legs for it anymore. You can see that he struggles to run back at the best of times. For me, even for his age, the better partnership is Ogbonna and Mavropanos. They seem to gel a lot better with Agurd. There's still question marks hanging over him, considering the money we paid for him. But Mavropanos and Ogbonna, yeah, they seem to kind of gel a lot more better. So it should be interesting what Moyes considers to do with Zuma in that respect. Because, yeah, I think there's too much of anything in there. Unfortunately, Moyes only has one plan. In front of a couple of missing players, and he's fucked. Yeah, it's very true. Very true. And this is where he lets us down at times. There's other times he gets it perfectly right. I mean, when we played Arsenal last time, he got that spot on. Everyone, every player did a number on Arsenal players, and that's how we got to beat you at the end of the day. But on Sunday, it completely went out the window at that stage. Welcome to Big Dickens. West Ham have lost calls. At the moment, yes, I could agree on that. But I think, as I said, we can only go one way, and it can only be positive and go forward. It's actually a good shout, facts. Good agreed on the Thomas factor. So, where do Man United go forward now? I mean, obviously, it seems that Ten Hag, all the last couple of games, everything's kind of forgotten. It seems to be that you've got a tune coming out of the team there, and of course, as Anthony alluded, your favourite player, the goal machine, McTominay, comes off the bench. And I saw your stream on about him and that. Where does Man United go forward now? I mean, obviously, you've got to be pleased with the turnaround. Yeah, it's a good shout there, the bowling ledge.
I think there perhaps is an uptick in mentality in terms of how people are feeling about the situation, because there's a very common case with the players in our team, very common case where players from one game they give a lot, the next game they dip, they drop off. There's nothing really, to warrant them saying, well, you play them the next week or anything like that. For the first time this season, in general, we've won a whole crop of games on the bounce, and in all competitions, that's what 4 or 5 games on the bounce that we've won. That's the most consistency we've had all season. It's no, maybe it's no coincidence that at the time that Ineos were holding these meetings with the squad, with the players, with the staff at the club, imposing what they expect and what their standards are, that perhaps the players is sinking in little by little, just how big of a deal that this is, and they've got to step up and find new leases of life. So maybe there is an essence of that going around the dressing room, or maybe it's just just the way that the cookies crumbled, and we're seeing the benefits of riding our luck. I mean, it could be either or. As far as where United go, or as far as where the Milky Bar Kid goes, can carry on coming off the bench and having impact as a super sub player between now and the end of the season. Score. If I'll tell you what, if he finishes top goal scorer of the season by being a bench player and coming off and scoring, maybe he warrants a case to say, well, I guess you can stay another season. Your goals could mean very valuable for us come the following season. And it's those sort of metrics that you want to say, well, possibly, that's when he warrants it, not because he runs hard or fights for the shirt. And, he looks like Manchester United. It's like somebody said it somewhere that if the predefined metrics of a player warranting a place in a shirt is running and fighting, probably means they're not a very good player.
Interesting.
Because
yeah.
if that's what we're worshipping players for, because they look like they look like they're passionate, what about rating these guys where they're passionate but they've got the ability and they're massively impacting games in various different instances? What about centre backs that are cutting everything, like attacks stop stone cold dead when the ball gets to them? What about midfielders who are connecting, literally connecting four like it's nobody's business? What about wingers that are literally fullbacks have to be switched over, or the manager has to make substitutions because they're just too hot to handle? What about strikers who, by half time, have scored a hat trick through sheer brilliance in the final third? What about those metrics? That's kind of where I want us to go. That's kind of where I want us to be able to judge players. Judge them for what they do on the football pitch, as opposed to prerequisites. That's the basics. That's what players are expected to do.
Yeah, because we had the same problem on Sunday. I mean, obviously you got Johnson playing out on the left, and you had obviously Bowen up top, and you had Kudos, being put all over the place. And yeah, you just want to see him being played in the right areas. I mean, obviously, I don't know if you saw Pablo Fornals played in his right position and then scored that screamer of a goal for Real Betis. And that just shows you, if a player's put in the right area, he will play his right way. But unfortunately not. I mean, it is a great comment for you here, Fuzzy. So Bonelands is saying, so basically, McTominay is Man United's Souček.
I don't know. He's built a bit like him, similar sort of stature, probably similar in terms of various qualities as an individual player. I mean, Thomas Souček, I think, is a bit more qualified to be a defensive midfielder as opposed to Scott McTominay, whereas Scott McTominay's got more of a knife of gold than I think Thomas Souček has. So it's like, which way do we look at it?
It's true. I mean, obviously, Anthony's already answered his question. His answer for basically where Arsenal he thinks is going to finish. So Dave's asking Big T, and I'll ask you this as well, Fuzz. Where do you think Man United will finish in the league?
First place. No, furthest from. I'd say probably. I mean, most likely sixth place. Most likely where we're at the moment, because I mean, there's still a gap between us and fifth place. But then again, we're probably at a push get between fifth and fourth. We're playing catch up at the moment. Aston Villa are ahead of us. We beat them on the weekend just gone. They lost embarrassingly to Chelsea before that, off the back of other embarrassing results. So I mean, Aston Villa, they're in a good position at the moment. They started the season phenomenally well, but are they finding less consistency now that they're going to start to drop away? They dipping back into sort of mid-table battles? Because if United are getting their act together, we're catching them up and they're falling away. I mean, Tottenham will be harder to catch. Out of the two teams, they'll be the harder team to catch, and I think Tottenham will build some sort of a gap to Aston Villa. And that's the open window to get into Champions League qualifications for Manchester United. That fifth place spot. Thank goodness the fifth place is there to get into Champions League, because otherwise you're all got even much more of a harder fight to get yourself into top four positions, and you've got to move Tottenham, or who knows if. I mean, who else is is there in the top? So it's Arsenal, Liverpool, and Man United. Who knows? Maybe if you go into top 4 positions, who knows if Arsenal encounter some madness and dip towards the end of the season. I mean, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, no, exactly.
Never say never with these sort of things, but the likelihood is that 6th place is probably most likely where United will finish. But 5th place is there, and 4th place.
Well, not being funny, I mean, my opinion, when we was kind of doing fairly well for ourselves, I put us down at the possibility we could win all our games, we could finish anywhere 5th or 6th. But that's slightly changed over the last couple of games, and I think where we are at the moment, probably 8th, is probably going to be the best, probably where we're more likely going to end up, I'd say, at this stage. When you look at it, we're level on points with Newcastle, but we're on -6 thanks to them that 6 goals, and Newcastle on a goal difference of 12. So we've got a bit of catching up to do if we should remain on the same points as them, basically. But yes, it should be interesting to see how this game goes. I think Villa will suffer inconsistency and have already for the rest of the season. Yeah, they have dipped. There's no two ways about it.
There's one thing about that game, too, because I watched the game, Man United and Aston Villa game, and I got to be honest with you, that McTominay's winning goal, that should have been the late equaliser for Man United. Because the only reason I'm saying, because Højlund's first goal, you look at Villa's defence, God, that was sloppy defending, in my opinion. I mean, there was no marking in that box at all. So, But Emery got to be drumming it into that players, because in all fairness, they've got a chance to finish 4th here, Aston Villa in the Champions League, and if they want to do that, right, they still can mathematically. They still can do that. But what I'm saying is, they've got to tighten up their defence, because that goal was a sloppy goal to concede in the first half, honestly. And he's going to be literally distraught. I reckon Emery had words with the players after that game as well, because I watched it and I thought to myself, bloody hell, that is sloppy defending. No marking, no nothing. There's no communication in that box, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is what Villa's. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know people make mistakes, but if you're going to gradually go on making continuous mistakes, you're going to pay for it. I mean, you look at yourself with West Ham. You say you're 8th at the minute. Okay, fine. You got Forest next. But what I'm saying is, you look on the back end of last season. You won the Europa League conference, didn't you? Europa League Conference Cup, right?
Yeah.
Technically, even though you did so poor in the league, but you had you think of it, you had a better season than us, Arsenal, last season. You won a trophy.
Absolutely.
So, do you know what I'm saying? So you've got to weigh up your pros and you've got to weigh up your cons in this and that. So what I'm trying to say is, I mean, you can win that game. Nothing stops West Ham from winning the game. Even if you finish 8th or let's say 9th this season, but you've won 2 back-to-back trophies. Okay, they may be the same trophy or whatever, but what I'm trying to say is Moyes has won you 2 trophies in 2 years, and that's what counts. And for a team like West Ham, I personally think that's good. But it's like what massive. I say, give Moyes to the end of the season. But with Manchester United, I think Fuzz is right. I think 6th is respectable, because, I mean, you look at it. But I'm not being funny, but at the minute, you're starting to look like Man United. To me, is starting to look a bit like a one-man team with McTominay. I don't mean that in a nasty way or anything like that. You do. I mean, Højlund, that's 5 goals now he's got this season in the Premier League. But I just feel that, McTominay, everybody's slating McTominay. Okay, fine. But, I mean, just for this season, play him, put him in there. He's bound to get you a few more goals from now to the end of the season. And hopefully, you can finish within that top 6. Do you know what I'm saying? And then, obviously, next season is a new... Yeah. Well, all right, on the bench, even if he's on the bench or even if he's playing. But, you've got no one in there to score goals for you at the minute. I mean, Anthony is not the greatest. Rashford, Rashford's been rubbish this season. You've got to be honest. Bruno Fernandes has dipped in form. Ericsson, sometimes he's lucky if he gets a game every now and then.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, Højlund, you say Højlund's scored, what, 5-6 games on the bounce now?
Yes.
So he's got a bit of consistency.
He's got a bit of consistency there, yeah. But what I'm saying is, I feel that if you've got that Højlund there, and obviously if you play McTominay in behind him, you're gonna get, you know, you've got people there that can score goals, because the other people around these players of Højlund and McTominay are not scoring at the minute. So I feel that, you know, it could be, you know, just better if you just play him. I'd rather play McTominay in behind Højlund, or if not, play him in that DM role where you said where he comes deep and then he could push himself in. His goals are mainly from set pieces, aren't they? McTominay's when he comes into the box and he's there. So yeah, so that's. I mean, in all fairness, that's a danger for the other team. So do you know what I mean? I just think this season we need to do it. What's that?
West Ham should start selling single half tickets for the rest of the season, considering our performance, basically. Obviously, he's in the channel. I know exactly. Yeah, so yeah, big up to Hammy Hammer. She's in here as well. That's good to see her in here as well. You've lost me train of thought now. There was something I was just about to say. Completely gone out my head. Just looking at the fixtures coming up. So let's have a look for Saturday. So, that's what it was I was going to mention. Just seeing the first game there. The good news, it seems that Liverpool are going to grant Sven-Göran Eriksson's wish, and he will be in the dugout. So it's good to see that they're doing that, you know, because we've covered this already in one of the shows. So I'm glad that they're actually honouring that. I think that's a great result to see that doing that, and to see that man's face beaming and that, and maybe it could be the last time that he'll do it. So it's good to see that. So your game kicks off the same as us at 3 o'clock. Burnley versus Arsenal. So let's go with the score predictions. So Fuzzy, what do you think the score will be for that?
Oh, 7-0 to Burnley. What is Burnley away? So
yeah,
I'll say 3-0. I'll go probably 3-0 Arsenal, I think.
Yeah, he's saying obviously if Forest defend like West Ham do, it could be 8-8 draw. At least it'll be entertainment value there, guaranteed. Anyway, at least.
That'd be a mega wash along.
Oh mate,
it'll probably go down as the most insane Premier League game in history. There's never been an 8-8 scoreline game, I don't think.
No, not at all.
No. Even with the crazy Boxing Day fixtures where teams were beating each other like 14-0 or something. Like,
yeah, back in the day, wasn't it? We want 9.
Yeti, as long as there isn't a watch along where you can go into Tony's stream and go, we'll score one more than you, because otherwise you'll end up losing.
Yeah, it's interesting.
History.
Yeah, look. Recruit a female head of support with engagements. You want something done when shit is a fan, get a woman in. Absolutely, Everett.
Yeah.
It's very true. So, Anthony, what do you think of the scoreline against Burnley? I mean, obviously, as we know, their form is not exactly the greatest. So, how do you see your team doing? Do you think it's another 6-0 drubbing?
Well, do you know what, Tim? I hope so. Our boosts our goal difference up, reasonably well. But I can't see it. I feel, I'm not being funny, I feel they're going to put up a better fight than obviously than what West Ham did. So I have said it all week, and Fuzzy, he's pinched my scoreline, and I did say 3-0 Arsenal.
Yeah. I was doing the watch along, and Yeti jumped into my chat whilst he was live as well. Little did he know from that moment onwards, it just slow. Yeah. It's the slow death. It was.
Yeah, happy Emirates saying Burnley won't win a game for another few weeks until we rock up. Yeah.
Charity FC.
As they say, happy Emirates, the West Ham way. We're going back to the old West Ham way. They roll a red carpet underneath our arm, letting them score goals against us. I went back fuzzy and I was like, why did I do that? Yeah, I agree with you two in that. I think it's going to be, an Arsenal, I wouldn't say a masterclass, but I think, Burnley are just, they're just not there at all, are they? They're nailed on for going back down. So, yeah, I agree with you guys. I think it's going to be a 3-0 result on that one. And then obviously Forest versus West Ham. I'll start off with you there, Anthony. What do you think with that game?
Oh, do you know what? I think both teams are being poor at the minute. Are playing poor. If anyone that's scoring goals at the minute, and even if they've lost, you got to think Forest to a certain extent. The way they play hasn't been that bad, but I mean they're conceding goals, and I know they've lost games, but it's not they've lost games, but they're scoring goals at the same time. So that's going to be a vital one. You still got these players out injured. Moyes is going to try and come up with some strategy within the game. Do you know what? What do I go for? Do you know what? I'm going to go for a draw in this game. I seriously, I'll go for a draw. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw.
Interesting. Fuzzy, what about you?
Suppose I'll get put into timeout set on the naughty step here, but I'll back for us to get a 3-1.
Interesting.
Get put in the timeout now just to see me disappear. That's it. Yeah, from now on, it's just the good, the bad.
Removed from the channel. Where is he now? Removed completely out of the channel, basically.
Banned forever.
He's Tony's going to put you in your ugly spot next week.
All we're going to see is his hairline. We ain't going to see nothing else of his face. It'll be completely obliterated out of the way.
Well, you see his face. Whose bloody eyebrows I got this week?
Did you see him, Fuzz? His new eyebrows that he's got.
I got different eyebrows from last week.
Let's have a look. Oh, those are long eyebrows. They really look. Yeah, they're going all the way down the entire side of his face.
Yeah, you can intertwine them at the ends, can't you?
You need to get the extensions where you can get them a little slightly
curled up with it.
Yeah.
If Moyes puts a few players in the right position, then we have a chance. I think we do as well. I mean, it's going to be a very tight game again, I think, with this one, because, as you said, both teams are struggling to hit form.
Yeah.
But we do have maybe, if Paqueta and Antonio can get themselves sorted out, then we offer a bit more depth in that respects. So I'm going to go with 2-1 to West Ham. If it's a bit close than that. As Jetty said, as long as Omadi Boo, he better play. Yeah, absolutely, because he's a good player for them.
Exactly. Is Dave in goal? Dave, is he playing in goal? Because you can't put that. He goes, nice save, Dave.
No, that's the defender. That is Omadi Boo. That's the defender.
Oh, right.
Got to get in the opposition's box to win penalties. That's true. Yeah, we've got to get in there. We don't like going in the final third against oppositions. That's for sure. Are we doing a watch along, Everton? If you are, mate, yeah, we can. I'll be up for that. That should be a good show. And we can both kick each other out the chat if both teams have started winning. So what else have we got here? What's the other games we've got? And then obviously there's the Man United game, I do believe, isn't there?
Luton away. Probably, typically, ironically, the hardest game probably out of all the ones that we've played thus far.
Oh, Luton, I don't know. I've got you down as being Chelsea here for some reason. Was it Chelsea? Oh, no, I'm looking at Man City, twat.
Luton
I'm looking at the wrong day. It's Sunday. You can
only been on that wine, He's been on the wine. He's been on the wine.
Yeah. When you do Valentine's Days on your own kind of thing, and that, you get pissed and carry on from there onwards.
Oh, that's brilliant. Man, that's from you, Art.
Luton away. Ooh, yeah. So obviously 4:30 kick-off on Sunday.
Oh. How? What is there to say about this game? It's
Evening assembled.
It's not really a game that fans, I think, will be most looking forward to. I think there'll be a bit of blind faith and say we'll walk into this game and get easy 3 points. Because anybody that has won 3 points at Kenilworth Road has had to go through some mad emotions in their games to get there. And it's not going to be any different. Where we actually get 3 points, though, is a whole other matter. And I can't say that we're going to be consistent forever. I'll be pleasantly surprised if we do and win the game convincingly. But to me, I'll probably look at this as a 2-2 draw, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just going to go happy hammer out. I mean, it's a good comment. Luton have really got something going for them, which they have. Can't see them going down at all, to be honest. Do you agree with that? Because I think they are. They've really found some form, haven't they? They are battling hard.
They are doing exactly what Burnley and Sheffield United should be doing. But Burnley fancied playing tiki-taka and literally with no defence and have been bludgeoned. You've got Sheffield United that don't care about what happens as long as they can collect some big parachute payment.
You got Wolfie.
Luton Town are the only real club that are at all biggest of all. Luton Town the only promoted club out of the three that are actually at all serious about about the Premier League. So for me, they've guarded my respect. Of course, Burnley and Sheffield United, not so much. But they've built a reputation. We might not have the quality to beat, say 18 or 17 of the other teams in the Premier League, but we're going to make your lives an absolute nightmare for 90 minutes whenever you come to Kenilworth Road. So it's going to be. We've got our work cut out for us, man.
Yeah, I agree on that. I do agree because I think they will definitely, as the Bowling Lounge saying, they're looting a potential banana skin. They will definitely give Man United a game. They know how to play in their ground at Kenilworth, and if you're not careful in that, I can see them actually getting a result out of you guys. So I'm going to go with 2-1 for Luton. What about you, Anthony?
Do you know what? I've got to be honest with you. The way Luton's been playing at the minute, they've been fantastic. They've been enjoyable, and they've got the sort of players. They don't go down without a fight. Luton.
They get you guys.
Yeah, and we were lucky to beat them 4-3. I feel it's going to be like a repeat performance of that with Arsenal and Luton. But unfortunately, I feel it's going to be. I think it's going to be a win. I think Luton. I think they'll beat Man United. I think this is going to be an high score game team. I really do. So I don't know. I've sod it. I'm going to go out for it. It was 2 scorelines I've had, and I'm going to go for a Luton win on this one. And I'm going to go for. Do I go 3-2 Luton or 4-3 Luton? I'll see 3. I'll just see 3-2 Luton. But this is a game that's good. It's going to be end-to-end stuff. I just feel that Luton's got more fight in their locker. Do you know what I mean? Than Manchester United. So that's it. What's that? Smash the likes.
We're going to smash the hammers.
So I feel Luton win. I'm going to go 3-2. It's going to be end-to-end stuff, and they've just got more fight in the locker, I reckon, than what Manchester United's got.
Yes, so it should be an interesting one. I mean, obviously, I'm going to go back. Obviously, Wolfie's in the channel. Big up to Wolfie, and obviously for those guys who haven't seen, make sure while you're there to Longhead Yeti's Cave, Hot Fuzz, Wolfgang Division, Gunners from all corners, old school gunner. If you can, don't forget to hit the likes, and obviously the Bowling Lounge. Hit a like, subscribe, especially to the Bowling Lounge. He's new onto the YouTube world, so let's make sure we give our support and love to that man as well. He's doing, the subs are starting to build up for him, and he's going to create some good content. So let's make sure we get them people going on from there. But as I say, Wolfie's in the channel, and Saturday evening is the Man City versus Chelsea, and it's actually at the City ground. So, what scoreline do you see on that one first?
Ooh, not perhaps, maybe not as big of a blowout as I think some people might be expecting. Oddly enough, I think maybe probably either a 3 or 4-1 sort of scoreline, perhaps. And I think Chelsea probably have a few spells in that game where they have a bit of that play going their way. But yeah, Manchester City, clinical. They'll test that defence, and that defence has got trial by fire against Erling Haaland, De Bruyne, Grealish, Doku, Bernardo Silva, Phil Foden, Julian Alvarez. It's long. It is really long, but yeah, the Chelsea could ruffle a few feathers, I think, but yeah, it's much more so in the favour of Man City, though.
Anthony?
Tony, I can only see this going one way, and I think that's going to be a win for Man City. Sorry, Wolfie. I know you're a Chelsea fan, but yes, I hope Chelsea. I really hope Chelsea gives it to them, and I really want them to win. Obviously, and in my point of view, I'm an Arsenal fan. I would love Chelsea to beat Man City. Can I see it? No. If they did, obviously, big respect to Chelsea if they do beat Man City. But at the minute, I'm going to go for I'll go for a Man City win on this one. I think it'd just be by the goal. I'm going to go 2-1 Man City.
Okay. I'm going to come back to one thing. I'm just going to say, obviously, Hammer is mentioned here. Bowling Lounge is going to be featuring tonight on Old School Hammers. So that's obviously Budgie and Kieran. So if you got the chance to, go over and watch that channel afterwards. And that as you know, Budgie was on Sunday, had a good show with him, and that's a good one to go and watch as well.
Awesome. I thought Dave flip flop. Then I thought he stopped being an Arsenal fan and went to West Ham. Then when I saw Old School Hammers, I thought, hey, Dave, what are you doing?
Well, new location, new club, the whole shebang, basically.
The whole shebang.
I think if you look at, I think City, as we've already said, they've just kind of finding form, aren't they? They're looking pretty good. So I'm going to go with you, Anthony. I think it's going to be a 2-1 result myself as well. I think it's going to be. Chelsea have kind of got a bit of form, but we just know that City have just got too much to offer. Simple as that. As much as Wolfie's on there, it's going to be one of those. So, as we're getting near to the end, just seeing that Lazio beat Bayern 1-0. So,
it's what happens when you take somebody out of Spurs. Can't take the Spurs out of the man.
Exactly that. Exactly that. I've baited him because before the game. So, Anthony, if you'd like to shout out your channel, please, sir.
Yeah, I do a channel on Football United TV. It's called the Gunners from All Corners. Bloody hell, I forgot the name of my own show then. That's good. That's bad, isn't it? And that's Thursday night at 9:00. There might be one tomorrow. I ain't got anyone on the bloody show yet. I've been so busy and flat out. No, I ain't got anyone on the show. So I'm trying to maybe find I'll just ask around and just see if I can get a couple of guests on, and obviously do a show, and then trying to get into the Premier League weekend show as well on Sunday. I think we're going to do that now. We're going to do that in an earlier time. It's used to start at 7:30, so I'm going to try and get that start around about between 6:30, 7:15, and try and get a guest on for there.
Got a nice comment from Yeti for you, mate.
Oh, cheers, Yeti. Do you know what? That man's an absolute genius. He's a saint, that guy. You know, big up. I am a prick. I love being a prick. You know, but big up to you, Yeti. Much love. Can I choose my scoreline for that, Tim? Can I go 5-0 West Ham?
5-0 West Ham. And I just realised there's one comment I want to say. Obviously, Hammer has put in here something I was just flagged up. She says, "What do you make of the Stetson interview early doors? Reading too much between the lines, or is he just flashing his knickers at Liverpool?" So when you look at Liverpool, apparently was looking to tap up Stetson as their football director. But if you look at it for me, yeah, I agree with what you say in the interview there. He said he was flattered by the approach by Liverpool. But could it be the case of basically saying, like, I've got some business to do here first of all, and then I could be on my way? So reading between the interview, I don't know if you guys have seen it. It was an interesting conversation, an interesting interview. But yeah, I think you could be reading, I don't know, depends if Sullivan's going to give him more power to do what he's doing. I mean, he's doing a great job so far. But, you know, when you've got someone like Liverpool come in, not being funny, as a player, you look to the players at, the highest level in my eyes. So maybe for him, it could be a job offer that's going to be quite tempting. So we'll watch this space. We'll watch this space on that. Big up to King Miguel. Someone say genius. Hot Fuzz, you'd like to shout out your channel, please, mate?
Yeah, you'll find me over at Hot Fuzz 44. Currently, we're live streaming this show as well from my location. If you are watching from my channel as well, the links to all of the panelists featured today is in the stream description as always. So make sure that everyone does go and drop likes and subscriptions to both channels. That is Early Doors Football TV and also Football United TV as well. All that good stuff. And yeah, also got 2 videos popped out today. One about the Ineos green light situation, and one about this mad lad behind me here. The one that's staring holes into your soul.
Hey, what
is it? It's like, was it Nicolas Cage, where he's just like, you don't say.
Yeah, exactly. It's
come off the back of watching some Nicolas Cage, but yeah, big ups to everybody in the chat. Another episode's gone by, and another Wednesday night well spent.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, absolutely. I just want to say one thing, Tim. He's actually going on. He's doing his a new show next week. I don't know if anybody knows it, but it's called Prick from the Cave. So make sure you tune in Tuesday nights at 8:00. Be there or be square.
For the greater good.
For the greater good.
For the greater good.
For the greater good. The greater good. Anyway, chat, it's great as always having you in here, giving your comments in there, and it's been a good evening. And as always, we'd just like to say thank you very much for being on, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Sunday, obviously, it's the Sunday night takeaway show. We look to see you there as well. I might have to speak to you 2 afterwards about that anyway, because I might have a problem. But other than that, thank you much for being in the chat, everyone. And we'll catch you all next time. So just going to put out the last couple of comments. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. 6 hearts for 6-0. Very kind of you.
Oh, yes. Super. And do you know what comes to that? Yeah.
Cheers, guys. So I was like, no, don't worry, happy. Don't worry. I'll see you in the other show shortly anyway. You're saying, hey, thanks, Anthony. You have to be the first guest to have one in there.
Cheers, mate. Yeah,
Frick that doesn't know what comments from the cave. One more thing. Absolutely. One more thing. Right. Good evening, everyone, and take care, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks again.
Cheers.